Welcome to the first in a mini-series of video tutorials covering the CLS 1 and 2 and CAG software for X3 Terran Conflict. These come with the bonus pack 4.1.01, I believe it is, 4.1.1, and this is the latest bonus pack you can download free from egosoft.com. It works with both the retail game and the Steam version, so go ahead and grab that. It contains what I think are absolute mandatory expansions to the game, especially if you get into some of the plot missions where you're dealing with tons of items, ships, materials, etc. This is an official bonus pack, so it will not modify your game and give you the modified tag. As you can see, mine is not, and I certainly have them installed and I'm using them. So what is it? CLS is commercial logistics software, and the CAG is commercial agent. There's a lot of similarities, and rather than go down every single piece and try to explain it up front, I think that would be a disaster on my part because I simply am not an expert with it. I'm going to take these piece by piece and show you one thing at a time in context of how I use it in the game. And so let's get started. The first thing you're going to need is pilots, and there are 6 levels of pilots. And the good thing about CLS and CAG is that the pilots are interchangeable. So if I train up a pilot to maximum level using the CLS software, I can switch him over to a CAG pilot and he will still be a logistician as a CAG pilot. And then I can move him back to CLS later on if I want him doing something else, and he will maintain that rank. So, okay, the various levels, ranks and limitations are, they start off as an apprentice, and that limits them to 4 stops, or 4 places they can go, waypoints. Courier is the next promotion, limits of 6, and they start charging you money. Supplier has a limit of 10. Then Cargo Messenger has a limit of 15, and that's the first promotion where they can start using jump drives. And then there's Forwarding Agent. It has a 20 stop limit. And the final one is Logistician, which has an unlimited limit, as well as the pilot will make repairs to their ship if they're damaged. So they'll do that on their own. Now, of course, the cost for each promotion goes a little bit higher, maxing out at Logistician at 40 credits per Missouri flown. So you want to keep an eye on that while we're training them up. So first things first, let's get some pilots trained so that when we need them, we can move them over into a new ship and put them to work. So what I'm going to do is do this the easy way. Go to Argon Prime and trade with the shipyard. And we're just going to buy a handful of Discoverers. You don't have to buy the fully shielded ones. This is fairly safe space. So if you really want to pinch the money, you can get the smalls. But I'm going to go ahead and buy 10 of these.
Ship ordered at.
And I'm not going to worry about upgrading this. We're not going to be jumping with them. I do want them going as fast as they can.
Install rudder optimization and boost extension.
I'm going to go ahead and grab the commodity logistics software, and this is available in any Argon equipment docks. I'm going to grab 1 and 2. Duplex scanner is optional, but it's nice to have the range. The fight command, I'm pretty sure these are optional, but I always grab them, and it will allow them to use fighter drones for self-defense. Got to have navigation software so that you can tell them where to fly.
Special command software.
And I do these out of habit. I don't think you need them. Actually, I'm not going to buy that. Yeah, that's enough. Okay, so now we have these 10 Discoverers. And if you want, you can rename them. I usually rename them Commodity Pilot or something like that, and you'll see why much later. Okay, I'll be back when I've finished renaming them all. Okay, I'm back, and I've got all my Discoverers renamed to Commodity 1 through 10. Let's get them started training. Basically, they level up simply by flying. You could assign them to buy simple wares like energy and sell it. but I don't think that makes them progress any faster, so I'm not going to mess with that this time, as we'll get into that in much more detail later when we're actually using it. So you pull up the command console to get to the CLS and CAG information. Open Trade and go to Start External Commodity Logistics. And first thing I want to do is set up some waypoints. Basically, you add a station for this ship to fly to. I'm just going to set up a little racetrack here of 4 corners of a big square for them to fly. So let's go to 3 worlds first. Go to the trading dock. And then we're just going to say fly to station now. All this means is it'll fly to station, it'll wait about 60 seconds, and then it'll go on to the next waypoint. Because again, you get promoted just for flying around, but you could do things like load something from one of your stations, unload it to another station. You could have him buy energy here, sell it there, etc. But we'll get into that later. So for now, just fly to station. Okay, first waypoint is set. Let's add a waypoint. Same thing. Let's add a third waypoint. And as you can see, I'm just going around in a circle or a big rectangle. And it doesn't matter what station you stop at. I'm just picking the trading station because it's kind of central. It doesn't really matter. And fly to station. Okay, so he's a beginner, and remember, he will be an apprentice, so he has 4 waypoints as his maximum, and as you can see, I can't add any more. So these are set. Let me escape out of this. And the first thing I'm going to do, since this is the first guy I'm setting up, is go to data storage. And I'm going to save data. And we're going to come down here and we're going to name this racetrack training, because I already have another training routine that I use, but okay, now that's saved. I can escape out of this, and if I hit Start External Commodity Logistics, you will see that he takes off. And if I pull up info on him now, he has been given his first rank of apprentice because I've given him his first order. Now, if we go to the next ship in line, of course he has no rank because he's received no orders yet. But since we saved that set of waypoints, this is easy. We just pull up Trade, Start External Commodity Logistics. We'll go down to Data, Load, and load the racetrack training. Escape out of that and Start External Commodity Logistics. And off he goes. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for all of my pilots, and I will be back when that's done. Okay, I have all of my ships off and running, and they're running through the routine that I've set up for them. And again, I have this is a different save game. I loaded it up so that I could do this without messing up mine too much, and I don't have my screen set up the same way, so let me fix that now so it's easy to follow, because right now it lists all of my ships by sector, and that's why it keeps bouncing around. So let's go to Options, and we are not going to show or group ships by sector. We're going to group them by name. So now this will be a little bit easier to track. Turn SATA back on. And you'll see some of them say CLS on standby, and that's because they're doing their 60 seconds of dock. As soon as that's over, they take off and fly to their next point. And they are, I guess you could say, earning experience points, kind of, and leveling up. And if you have, let's pull this up. Configure reports. If you have this set, and by default it is promotions, yes, you will actually get messages, and it will let you know when they've been upgraded. So basically that's all it is. They're all that it is to this. I have 10 discoverers running on autopilot now. It's kind of hands off. It's pretty much safe space, so I don't have to worry about losing them, and I can go on and do other things. And in the beginning, you may even want to train more than this at once, but at any given time I have about 10 of these ships ready to train. Once these guys are fully upgraded to logistician, you can transfer that pilot from this little discoverer to a really nice ship. And of course you don't lose the discoverer, so once you transfer the pilot, you can just load the training routine back into a new pilot, into the discoverer, and start it all over again. So you always have this pool of logistician pilots to draw upon when you get a new ship for either CLS or CAG. Okay, so that's the basics of getting your pilots trained up, and the next video we'll start actually using some of the CLS functions and seeing how beneficial they can be.